My name is Koji Aizawa. I live with my wife Kyoko and 2 daughters, one in high school and the other in junior high school. Our family got along well, but recently, things have been getting tense between the family.
Thanks for the food.
After finishing dinner, my wife went straight back to her room without even putting the dishes away. Thanks for the food. Well, I guess I'll wash it. Yes, my wife, who's a housewife, stopped doing the housework altogether. My wife got into such a state since last year. She attended a high school reunion, and I don't know who influenced her, but the day after that,
If I calculate my housework into annual income, it would be 10 million. I'm doing it for my family for free, so I'm great. So don't complain if I go out or take a day off. You should respect me more as a housewife.
she would claim. This was the moment when my wife, who had been doing the housework normally up until then, changed drastically. Just so there's no misunderstanding, it's not like I've been throwing all the housework at my wife. I took the initiative to help out when I could get off work on time, and my daughters helped my wife at times.
I'll wash the dishes so you can rest, Dad. Yeah, I'll go wash the bath, and I'll call you when it boils.
Koharu, Chiaki, thanks. But you guys have to study, right? So I'll take...
We're already done with that. Yeah, we had to cook dinner, too.
My wife is like that. So the housework was always done by me and the girls. But I always felt bad for my daughters for the chores that my wife left them to do, without a single look of aversion. Kyoko, if you're at home, do your chores. Did you make Koharu and Chiaki cook dinner for you today, too?
What? Even a housewife has to work hard during the day. I'm doing it right.
We know you go somewhere during the day when we're not here. Where are you getting the money for this? If it's for necessities, fine. But you won't even tell me what you do with it when I ask you.
I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. What's wrong with a little break?
I do the laundry, I clean, I feed the kids. What do you do? You've been like this for a long time now. Are you doing enough to take a break from the housework?
Oh, you think a housewife is a housekeeper, don't you? I'm tired every day. You and the girls just need to go to work and school, but I'm different.
What's so hard about doing nothing all day? We're not only working or going to school, but we do the chores too. You need to improve for the sake of our daughters.
Ugh, that's all you say. I'm really sick of it. I hate the idea that it's normal for a housewife to do everything.
Hey, I'm not done talking!
We're done talking. Get out.
I've warned my wife many times, but she won't listen to me. She always says, it's hard to be a housewife, or I'm great because I'm a housewife. And I've always had a hard time wrapping my head around it. She would only claim how she's doing everything she's supposed to, and evade my questions, and cut off the conversation one way or the other. I know how hard it is to be a housewife. I saw my mother work hard as a housewife when I was little, so I understand how hard it is. But that can only be said of those who do their housework properly. My wife seemed to think that she was great just because she had the label of being a housewife. Maybe because of that, she's not home often, even when our daughters come home from school. And when she does come home, she smells of alcohol and strong perfume. I'm sorry I'm always giving you guys a hard time. I'm sorry for being a bad father.
It's not your father's fault, Dad. Besides, it's not like Chiaki and I don't like helping out. We're family, right?
Thanks. I'll see what I can do about my mom. What's up, Koharu?
Nothing. Your bath's ready. Why don't you go in, Dad?
Oh yeah. Thanks. I could see my daughter's face contorted in disgust, but the next moment, she was back to her usual smile, which made me curious. But I didn't ask about it. The next day, it was when I was urging my wife to do better, as usual. I'm telling you, you've got to do better!
I'm telling you. How many times do I have to tell you the same thing? You want to make me your housekeeper in collusion with our daughters, don't you?
Kyoko, A family is supposed to share roles and support each other, right? Lately, all you do is play, eat, and sleep.
That's not true. Satonaka says being a housewife is a noble job.
I'm not saying being a housewife is wrong. Satonaka?
Oh, no, it's nothing. Forget about that. Anyway, I realized it because someone advised me not to be a housekeeper for my family in the future.
My wife held her mouth for a moment to cover it up, but it looks like this wasn't just a matter between the family. I don't know what that person said, but think about it. Have we really been treating you like a housekeeper as much as you think we have?
Ugh.
Kyoko, this is your last warning. If you don't make any further improvements, I'm going to have to consider my future with you.
Ugh.
I wondered if my wife, who was looking down and keeping silent, was giving this some thought, but I was shocked by her next words.
Fine, I'll prove it then.
What do you mean?
I'm a housewife. I work for free for 10 million a year and I'm great. I'm packing my bags and leaving. This house can't run without me. You should feel the pain at best.
Saying that, my wife started packing her bags, and when she finished packing her own stuff in no time, she said to me triumphantly,
Bye! I don't care if you come crying to me later.
I could do nothing but watch in amazement as my wife left the house after saying that.
What's wrong, Dad? I knew you and Mom were fighting about something, but...
Your mother left. I said too much. I'm sorry.
Huh?
When I apologized and explained what happened to my daughters, who came out of their rooms, both of them reacted indifferently, as if it wasn't their own mother who had just left. What's up? You seem kind of calm. Both of you.
Because... would our lives be any different if Mom leaves? At best, we'll just have to cook for one last person. Oh, and she won't be wasting our money. Oh, sis, add no more stress to that list. Oh, that's right.
You guys. She's like that, but she's still your biological mother. Then the daughters looked at each other, and they told me a shocking fact.
Listen, Dad. Listen carefully. She's cheating on you.
Huh? What?
I've seen her walking arm in arm with some guy. Here's the proof. I followed her and took a photo with my phone.
Why? Then she showed me a photo, and sure enough, my wife and a man I didn't know were having a good time, and I was speechless.
I have photos and video too, but they're just walking together, so it's not like it's conclusive evidence. Sorry, Dad. I was talking with Chiaki about getting proper proof and then reporting it so Dad wouldn't be talked into it by her. I couldn't get into the other guy's apartment because it auto-locked. I wish I could have taken a photo of them entering the hotel or something, but I'm sorry. I mean, we should have told you earlier. We didn't want her to take custody, so we went ahead on our own. Dad, I'm sorry.
They must have acted upon a lot of thought. I was filled with anger toward Kyoko and pity towards myself for causing such unnecessary worry. Koharu, Chiaki, I'm sorry for making you guys worry about me. Thanks for telling me the truth. It must have been shocking and hurtful for both of you to see your mother like this. I'll take care of the rest, so leave it to me.
Dad, we've decided that if you get divorced, we're going to stay with you. Yeah, we don't want to be separated from you. We want to be together as a family.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I'm going to win custody for sure. I hugged my daughters tightly and began preparing to fight. 2 weeks after my wife left me.
I'm home! How's it going? Did you start to appreciate me a little more now? Without me, you're still...
Welcome back. Come inside so we can talk. My wife, perhaps sensing the usual atmosphere, was silent, but she was still obeying my instructions. Walking into the living room, there were my daughters with straight faces, which made her even more confused. You got something to say?
Oh, how was the last 2 weeks without me? It was hard without a housewife like me, wasn't it?
I'm sorry, but nothing changed. Life as usual. Although I really don't understand why you left.
What? I'm a housewife. If I really put my mind to it and did the housework, I'd be worth 10 million a year. So you're saying I can do my chores as best I can, right? I'm telling you, I don't care if you whine about it later.
My daughters and I looked at my wife with cold eyes as she continued to say such things at this point. After a moment of my wife boasting about her being a wonderful housewife, my daughters said to my wife in a casual manner,
Our life without you has been really comfortable. I don't want to see my mother happily putting on heavy makeup to meet with her lover anymore.
You eat the food we cook without cleaning up afterwards.
That's called being a parasite, not a housewife. You're always nagging about 10 million yen, but don't you understand that you're the one who needs to pay up?
It was Satonaka-san, wasn't it? You had a blast at your high school reunion, didn't you? Seems like you spent a lot of money from the family budget and did whatever you wanted with it.
There's no way I would have had an affair. These girls must be influenced by some drama or something.
See, here's proof. The last 2 weeks you've been out, the reason you haven't been around during the day until now, it looks like you've been at the guy's place. I hired a detective agency and showed my wife the evidence I had gathered over the past 2 weeks, and she was clearly panicking as her eyes began to swim. This is a fine act of adultery. I'm divorcing you. You and the adulterer will pay me alimony.
Fine, I'm tired of this boring life, and you're a boring man. You'll get your share of the property and the alimony will be offset by child support.
You think you can actually take custody?
Yes, Koharu and Chiaki will follow me, right?
Were you listening earlier? Is this what you call pudding brain? Don't make fun of us just because we're kids.
Huh? I gave birth to you two. It's my right as a woman to take custody. If I can't take custody, I'll ask for alimony.
What kind of argument is that? Why do you need custody if we already hate you? I saw you buying sailor suits at Donkey. Was it Satonaka? Maybe he's into that kind of thing. Oh my god, that's scary!
Well, that's what it is. I'm not planning on giving you custody either, and I'm going to make sure you pay child support.
Wait a minute. My plan? That's not what I heard. Because even if you find out, I can offset it with alimony and child support, and I can get money from the division of property.
Did Satonaka put you up to this? How can it be so convenient for the adulterer? You're going to pay for neglecting our family and having an affair.
Why? It wasn't supposed to be like this.
My daughters and I watched in silence as my wife turned pale and collapsed to her knees. Afterwards, I got exact alimony from the adulterer and my wife, and got divorced. I also made a proper division of property. I won custody of both daughters after a hard-fought custody battle. My wife's parents apologized to me in tears and paid me a lump sum of child support. They didn't care about their daughter anymore, but begged me to let them continue to be involved with their grandchildren, and my daughters readily agreed. My wife was placed in the custody of a relative who took care of her alimony. She's going to work hard to pay back child support and alimony to her parents and relatives as a housewife in that house.
I had lost sight of what was important. I was out of my mind at that time. Now that I've woken up from this nightmare, please come and get me.
A housewife makes 10 million a year, right? Why don't you get Satonaka to hire you? I received several such poem-like texts from my wife, but I've been replying appropriately. I've heard that even mothers like that have the right to visit their children. Well, I'm going to block her immediately if she says anything strange. This coming Saturday, let's go somewhere. Think about where you want to go.
Yay! I want to go to Mousy! Me too!
Okay, then it's decided. Since you guys are on spring break, let's spend the night at Mousy.
Yay! Dad's the best! Love you, Dad!
As a father, I'm determined to watch over my precious daughter's future.
My name is Akemi Kinoshita. My husband Masaru and I have been married for 6 years now. We have 2 kids aged 3 and 2. Both are boys. I'm a housewife, but I'm exhausted from dealing with them every day. I'm thinking of putting them in daycare to start working, but where I live, daycare is hard to come by. But my parents' house is just 1 or 2 stops on the train, so I'm thinking of leaving them to my parents who love their grandchildren so I can start working. In the midst of all this, there is a problem that's currently plaguing me.
How nice it is to be a full-time housewife. You sleep with the kids during the day anyway, right?
Of course not. It's a very difficult time for me right now. They're always saying no, they're full of energy, they fight, and you can't take your eyes off of them because they might do something dangerous.
Yeah, hurry up and start working. Our finances are tight.
How can you talk like that? I haven't been able to get much done at home ever since the kids have been able to move around more freely. My kids are not good sleepers, and I have to get them ready in the morning and feed them despite my grogginess. The younger one also wants to be left alone and cries a lot. Then we go to the park or support center to exercise, then lunch. If I'm lucky, they'll take a nap. Evenings are the worst. They start to get in a bad mood, but I still have to feed them, bathe them, and put them to bed. There are so many dangers for children, both at home and outside. If you take your eyes off of them, they'll suddenly start running, falling, climbing. There's no time to rest. With all that going on every day, there's no time to worry about the husband.
Compared to that, my sister, who works as well, is amazing. She even does the housework.
The other day when we got together at my in-laws' house, I met my sister-in-law Haru and her husband Tsutomu for the first time in a while. They're both good-natured people, and I often contact them for advice. At that time, Tsutomu showed me a picture.
We made this at our house. Paella! It turned out good, and I wanted to show it off. Wow! Amazing!
Tsutomu is a good cook, and he's been posting his cooking on Instagram and other sites. It sure looked like it was made by a pro. Even though they have 2 children as well, I certainly think it's impressive.
Are you two both working? I'm jealous. Oh no, we share the workload. My wife is a housewife and is no good at all.
I laughed it off and got over it. After that, he kept making fun of me, so I finally snapped. Why don't you go visit my sister-in-law then?
Huh?
Why don't you try being Tsutomu? I suggested that we exchanged Masaru with Tsutomu for 2 weeks to get to know each other's families. My husband was overjoyed. When I told my sister-in-law about the situation, she readily agreed. Good idea. When we got together, I thought it was a crazy idea. I'll tell Tsutomu. Of course, Tsutomu immediately agreed too. I can play with my child, he was happy to hear. We decided to exchange from that weekend, and my husband went to my sister-in-law's house with great enthusiasm. On the other hand, Tsutomu brought a lot of things to our house.
I brought a lot of things so I could play with my nephews. Please, take your time and rest, Akemi.
As he said, Tsutomu did everything from meals to housework and even played with the children. On weekdays, he wakes up early in the morning, prepares breakfast, and helps the children get ready in the morning, and then goes to work. On weekends, he would take care of the children, and it had been a long time since I was able to go to the hair salon. Well, I think Tsutomu is a rare person who can do everything, but I still compare him to my husband. My husband doesn't even bathe our kids. What will happen if I start working? My anxiety never lifted. Well, I said 2 weeks, but to my surprise, my husband came back after 1 week.
I can't anymore! Come on.
I heard the story from my sister-in-law, who who was also quite angry. My husband thought that my sister-in-law would do most of the housework. He knew that Tsutomu could cook, but he didn't think he was doing the other household chores and my sister-in-law was doing everything. Because she's a woman. He thought there was no such thing as a woman who didn't do housework. He thought that my sister-in-law was a woman who was quick and efficient and could do more than me. That can't be true, though. My sister-in-law made my husband work, just like when she was with Tsutomu. First, she would wake my husband up at 6 a.m. and have him prepare breakfast and do some light cleaning. While my husband was preparing breakfast, my sister-in-law would get ready to go to work.
What are you doing putting on makeup so carefree?
This is the minimum etiquette for those who are going face-to-face with clients. If you're a working adult, you should know what I'm talking about.
But a man cooking while a woman is putting on makeup?
All you have to do is cook some sausages and toast up the bread.
Then they do the laundry together, and when the kids wake up, he helps get them dressed and eat. And goes to work at the last minute. My sister-in-law works for a company that requires her to work on weekends. So he had to do all the housework for the kids by himself during the weekends, which left him in shambles.
Why can't you even bathe the kids?
Because I usually work.
I do it even when I'm working, and so does Tsutomu. After many such conversations, the sister-in-law seemed to have lost her patience.
How can you live with someone like this?
When my sister-in-law said this, I began to agree. When he came back, my husband became more gentle and...
Can you stay at home for a while instead of working? I'll do my best at work.
He doesn't want to do it by himself after all. I understand clearly now. If he said, let's cooperate on the housework and childcare from now on, maybe it would have been different. Look, all I'm asking for is understanding and cooperation. I'm going to be working sooner or later. You're going to have to learn how to do the housework and take care of the kids.
Okay.
Although he worked reasonably well for a month after returning from my sister-in-law's place, he must have started to think he couldn't do it or that he didn't want to do it, and gradually went back to the way he was. Hey, I thought you were going to learn housework and childcare.
I can only work, you know. You stay as a full-time housewife. Do your job how you've always done it. You're the mother.
No. I'm going to work when daycare becomes available. I can't take care of you and the 2 kids. Tuition fees and other expenses are going to come up. I don't mean to be rude, but there's no way we can make it on Masaru's salary alone. I wanted to shout that. And so the next day, what a coincidence, I received a phone call from the city office. The daycare center is now open. We can start accepting children next month. What would you like to do? It seemed like a voice of salvation for me. I lied and told him my parents wanted to see the kids and went back home with them. Of course, I told my parents what had been happening. I decided to reconsider once and for all. First, I needed to find a job. I have to find one before I put them in daycare. I'm qualified, so it wouldn't be difficult there. Although I stayed at my parents' house, I tried to do as much of the housework as possible, including meals, by myself, as if I were to live as a single. I tried to spend my time thinking that way, but it was easier to think of myself as someone who no longer had a husband from the beginning. I won't be swayed by frustration. I can do it at my own pace. I was reassured that everything would be fine, and to my surprise, I found a job. Next, I decided on a house. I was already prepared. When I got back from my parents' house, I talked to my husband again. Hey, I'm thinking of working.
What? I told you to stay as a full-time housewife.
But we're going to have a lot of expenses from now on, right?
Well, we'll be fine if we save money and not be extravagant, right?
But that won't cut it for school tuition. I have to work for that. And I want you to take on the housework as well.
What? No way! Then you do it! I'm tired from work.
Ugh, seriously. It was stupid of me to get my hopes up. Then, here.
What?
I handed him the divorce papers. My husband froze. Did he really think he wouldn't be divorced? I've already found a job and a house. All you have to do is put your stamp on it and it's over. I'll take care of the kids.
No, wait! Just because I don't take care of the house or kids? I'll take care of it then, okay?
You didn't.
I will, from now on.
That's why we talked about the future, right? But you said you can't. You won't. Living at home, I understood. I can do just fine without you.
No!
After that, my husband was reluctant to divorce me, and it took quite a while to file the papers. My kids and I moved into our new home and, as expected, are living happily and without incident. It's really much easier now that I don't have to take care of my husband. That's the only regret that I have, that I should have done this from the beginning. My work is going well, and I only ask my parents to stay with me when I have to. They had heard about my husband, so they were willing to watch the kids, which I was grateful for. My husband finally seems to understand that I'm not coming back, and he seems to be complaining and whining to my sister-in-law and her husband. Every time that happens...
It's because you didn't cooperate properly, and you're not even paid well enough to save money. Are you stupid?
They scold and laugh at him. Tsutomu was also appalled. I'm relieved that the kids are not under much stress because my husband didn't really take care of them from the beginning. From now on, I'm going to live my life taking care of these two. My name is Natsuki Nakamura. I've only been married to my husband for half a year. Cooking is one of my hobbies. I even went to culinary school and studied, so I'm pretty confident in my cooking. Tetsuya always ate my cooking like he really enjoyed it, so I was really happy.
Your cooking is seriously so delicious. It's fancy, and everyone's always so jealous.
Really? You realize you're gonna make me work harder? We had a great life together until that day. What do I make tonight? I work at home, so besides meetings with clients, I pretty much stay at home. It's work that I can do from home, so I often use my time wisely to cook. In the morning, I send Tetsuya off and then do the laundry and prep dinner. Before I know it, it's lunchtime. I guess I can have leftovers with some eggs and rice. That's what I normally eat alone. I don't want to waste leftovers. It was right as I had everything ready and set on the table.
I'm home! I just came around the house from making rounds with the clients. Can I have lunch?
Oh, hi, Tetsuya. Welcome home. Tetsuya had come home out of the blue. He was apparently around the area while making rounds with clients. When we made it back to the living room, he looked at the food that I was about to eat and freaked out.
What? What is that?
It's my lunch?
Why are you eating that?
What do you mean? It's just leftovers. This is what I normally eat when I'm alone. He fell silent. I didn't understand, but he seemed to be shocked.
I'm so disappointed. You're always making delicious and fancy food. You don't do that when you're alone? That's so...
Ew. I'm the only one that's going to be eating it. I'm not wasting things, so what's the problem? Why do I have to make fancy food when no one is even looking? I mean, I'm sure there are some people who do that, but... I always make good food because I want Tetsuya to eat good food. But it's not like I just want to be fancy to be fancy.
I cannot believe that you're that kind of person! Seriously, unacceptable!
What the hell is that attitude?
I thought you were a fancy woman, and here I end up with a basic bitch. I was tricked.
Just because I'm eating leftovers? It didn't matter what I said after that, he just kept telling me the same thing. Apparently, he was more concerned with the fact that I make fancy food rather than not wasting food. He kept escalating his insults, and I could feel myself quickly getting tired of him. A few days later, while he was in the shower, his phone rang. It was on the sofa, so I took a look out of curiosity when... Minami? I saw a name that I hadn't heard before on the text. It was just a notification on the screen. No way. I opened his messages. I was surprised at the conversation that was on there.
Thank you about before. That store was amazing.
My wife is seriously such a basic bitch. She doesn't make me any good food. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, what? That's the worst. I'd make you great, delicious food.
Okay. Can you make some for me when I go over to your house? We can do a hotel too.
Okay.
Going back further, I found some conversations that aren't appropriate here. It was an affair. I was frozen. I can't believe that he would cheat on me just because of the food he saw. I wasn't processing everything fast enough. I heard Tetsuya coming out of the bath and I snapped out of it. I took photos of the text messages quickly. I still couldn't calm down. It hasn't even been half a year since we've been married.
Huh? Is something wrong?
No, I'm fine.
Oh yeah, I have an Instagrammer I want you to see. This account.
Tetsuya showed me an account by the name of Minami. It was clearly his mistress.
It's super fancy, isn't it? You should use this as an example.
That night, I was looking at her Instagram. All of the food was actually really good looking.
I eat stuff like this when I'm on my own,
She said. The photos were indeed fancy. She had a photo that was close to our station. She must live nearby. Tetsuya followed her and DM'd her, which led her to, "Hey, you live near me, let's meet up." I'm assuming that's how it went. I could imagine it happening. The other photos had photos that kind of seemed like she was with a man, or photos near a hotel. There were even photos of Tetsuya with his hand in it. He had his wedding ring on too. I wouldn't mistake it. Ugh, whatever, I don't care anymore. Tetsuya sleeping soundly next to me. I knew exactly what I had to do. First, I had to gather evidence. That wasn't going to be enough. I can't just look at his phone. I had to call his office. Check on when he'd taken leave, of course.
Oh, he's been off a few times this month. I think at least 3 times this month.
3 times. Thank you. I didn't hear about him taking off at all this month. I cross-checked the days he took off to the days she uploaded photos with the two of them. It was spot on. I brought this evidence to a lawyer and finally gave him divorce papers. It was about a month after he had seen my lunch.
Divorce? Yeah, sure. I don't want to be with a basic bitch anyway. I guess we'll divorce before my meal becomes basic too.
Yeah, let's do that. I don't think I'd ever served him anything less than my 100%. I always did my best to make it fancy. But he was only thinking about Minami.
See you later, basic bitch.
He left the house. I was borrowing the house anyways as a place for my work. We had only been married for half a year, so it wasn't like we had any shared wealth. We just divorced. He immediately started calling me.
Minami spends too much money. I thought she handmade all her food, but she literally buys everything. She keeps talking about how she needs to upload the next IG photo, and she goes to hotel luncheons all the time.
Okay, and?
So let's start over. I think you're the better one. I'll deal with the basic meals.
You don't have anything you want to tell me before that? I was pissed off at how selfish he was being. He could have just disappeared, but I had no sympathy left for this idiot who always blamed it on his partner. You've been cheating on me with Minami-san before we were divorced, right?
No, that's not true.
I have proof. If you keep bothering me, I'm going to sue you for damages.
What?
The divorce papers hadn't been signed yet. I figured this would happen, so I kept it hidden this whole time. I can't believe he would come out and yell at me.
I'm sorry. I really regret what I did. Please forgive me and retry with me.
The reason I had simple meals.
Huh?
I didn't want to waste food. I want to finish all the leftovers. When you weren't looking, I knew that you cared about looks all the time, so you may not understand. As someone who loves cooking, it was something that we should all understand. Tetsuya and Minami. They probably never would understand. I sued both of them for damages and divorced him. Minami was crying and apologizing, but the lawyer said it was his job and made sure that she signed all of the paperwork. Minami also just pretended to be some fancy Instagrammer. She's just a regular part-time worker. She took out loans just to go to hotels and cafes. It was kind of a pity, really.
I can't pay for this, then I can't live a fancy life.
She deleted the account, probably because she didn't have to be all fancy anymore. I pity the fool that fell for her too. He messaged me a few times that he wanted to do things over and that he wanted to eat my food again, but I just gave it all to my lawyer. I started my own cooking class after that. I mean, it's just homemade food, so it's not super fancy, but people are interested and there are quite a few men who come. There's one that seems pretty cute, but, well, we'll leave that for another day. People think it's just food, but you can't just pretend it's not important or a limited resource. I'm only going to keep the people who value my cooking, no matter how it looks, close to me. My name is Lisa Sukada. I graduated from college and I work for a design company. This industry is corrupt, or rather old-fashioned. Anyway, the clients come first, so I've never been able to go home on time. But it's the job I wanted to do. I was living day by day, somehow managing to reduce the fatigue that I was accumulating. I also have a boyfriend named Hiro. He's 1 year younger than me, and I met him through a friend. Hiro is always cheerful and makes me feel better when I talk to him, but...
Hey! How are you?
I'm fine. I mean, it's 1 o'clock right now. I don't know if Hiro works for a good company or if he drinks until late at night, but he always calls me late at night. It was hard for me sometimes for someone who leaves early in the morning and comes home late at night. Still, I didn't think it was enough to break up with him. But one night...
Hey, can I come over to your house right now? I'm already at the station.
What? It's 9 p.m. I could understand if he was just calling me, but he was going to come over, which I couldn't believe. I mean, we hadn't even been dating for 2 months. I didn't want to let him in too late at night. Sorry, I can't. I have to be up early tomorrow.
What? You're so cold. It's fine, isn't it? Hey!
You know what I do for work, right?
You're so cold. So cold. How about some food then? Just feed me.
Now?
Cook for me.
Hiro won't back down no matter what I say. It's no use. Let's just have him eat and go home. I decided so and reluctantly allowed him to come to my house.
I'm so cold. Can I borrow the shower?
No, you're going home after dinner, right? Hiro went to the living room without hesitation as soon as he entered. He sits down on the sofa and looks around the room.
So, what are you going to cook for me?
Hold on. I'll make you something with what I have. I had already finished my meal, and I was about to take a bath and go to bed. Tomorrow, I have to go to the office first thing in the morning for a meeting, so I wanted to go to bed early. I said to myself as I stood in the kitchen. What I made was fried chicken rice bowl. Of course, the fried chicken was for lunch. I put it on top of thawed frozen rice and served it to Hiro. I also heated up the leftover miso soup. Here you go.
Huh? What's this? Fried chicken? You just put it on top, and it's frozen food!
There's no way I can make something from scratch showing up here at this hour. Even that fried chicken is something I put in my lunchbox every day. The miso soup was also left out for me to eat in the morning.
Ah, you can't actually cook, can you? You only eat frozen food every day?
You know what? Do you think I can make fried chicken right now?
You can do it, right? You can't cook, can you? If you can, show me the proof. Cook it right now.
I was starting to get angry at what he was saying. I guess this is what it means to lose passion all at once. Are you going to eat it or not? If you're not going to eat, can you leave already?
What? What? Are you mad at me? Don't get mad!
I said if you won't eat, go home. Unable to overcome my sleepiness, I yelled at him, and Hiro's shoulders shook pathetically. And suddenly, he starts to get nervous and grimaces to hide it, which irritates me again.
Don't be so angry. I was just testing you to see if you can cook as a marriage partner.
Huh? What is he saying out of the blue? I'm so dumbfounded. We haven't even been dating for half a year and he's calling me his marriage partner? I can't help but laugh. No, I'm not going to marry you anymore. So, will you leave?
What? What? You like me, don't you?
I don't like you anymore. Break up with me. Get out of here. I said coldly and threw his shoes and bag into the hallway of the apartment. I saw him rush to get them and shut the door. When I locked the door, he said something through the door, but I ignored him. I put his untouched bowl of fried rice and miso soup in the fridge and finally got some sleep. The next day, I got a call from Manami, the friend who introduced me to Hiro.
What happened? Hiro told me you said terrible things to him. He told me to make you apologize.
Really? Actually, Manami was speechless when I told her the truth about what happened yesterday.
I'm sorry I introduced you to someone like that. I'll scold him properly.
Yeah, I don't want to be involved anymore.
Okay, I'll apologize to you properly later.
Manami apologized several times, even though it wasn't her fault. I've tried not to get involved with Hiro at all since then. However, I started getting numerous phone calls and texts.
How long are you going to stay mad at me? I'll forgive you.
And
Don't you want to marry me?
he kept sending me messages like this. Each time I told him, I've already broken up with you, so please don't contact me. But it didn't help. I've heard that if you suddenly block him, he escalates even more, so I've left it at that for now, but it's nothing short of depressing. So I suggested to Manami that we have a little party at my house, invite all kinds of people. Manami understood my idea and was all for it. 1 week later, a dozen or so acquaintances gathered at Manami's house. Of course, Hiro was there too, grinning when he saw me standing in the kitchen.
Look at her. She can't cook at all, yet she's standing in the kitchen. The other day she served me frozen fried chicken.
Hiro loudly announced it. He still thinks he's my boyfriend. I held back my frustration. The real work is just beginning. Soon the party will begin and the tables will be filled with food. Canapes, gratins, salads, colorful sushi. I even prepared some sweet treats.
Wow! Oh, it's so pretty!
They were so delicious that people thought I ordered them from a restaurant somewhere. Everyone was happy with the food. But Hiro was the only one who looked pale, because I was the only one standing in the kitchen.
No, she might have just put what she bought on the plate, right?
You saw me buy the ingredients, right? What are you talking about?
Manami quickly rushes in. Everyone starts laughing, saying, "That's right." I finally came out of the kitchen, too. Then I calmly said, "I'm sorry I served you frozen fried chicken the other night, because you came at 9 o'clock at night and asked me to feed you."
Well,
What is that?
I'd kick them out if they came that late at night.
And you were going to test me to see if I'd make a good marriage partner, right? I'm sorry, but I don't want you in my life.
what do you mean a test? That's hilarious. No, I mean...
Tell you what, cooking is my hobby.
What?
I work for a design firm which actually also publishes posts on social media that deals with food-based products. I've been getting a lot of buzz when I publish new recipes, quick recipes, and many other dishes. I'm the one working on the projects. I've been in charge of it for many years now. I even got my cooking license while working. Monami is the only one who knows about it. When I revealed this, Hiro's attitude changed drastically.
You were lying to me? You should have made me a home-cooked meal from the beginning!
What do you mean? You never even asked me about my job. That's why you call me late at night with no hesitation, right?
Well, you passed for a good marriage partner, right?
What in the world is he talking about? Monami laughed bitterly, saying, "He really said that." I've told you, I've already broken up with you. Don't ever contact me again. What a jerk. How selfish can he be? With the support of my acquaintances, Hiro became smaller and staggered back home. If only you had said so from the beginning, he blurted out. Needless to say, we regrouped and enjoyed the party. Later, Hiro seems to have lost friends because of this one incident, especially the girls who said, "I would never let a guy like that near my radar." He was no longer invited to drinking parties, too. Hiro contacted me again, saying he wanted to explain himself, but I told him he deserved what he got. To make someone cook, fine, but I think it's disgusting to test people. I'm still busy, but things are going great right now with a senior colleague of mine at work. At first, we were just working on projects together. When we started dating, he turns out to be a very good cook. On our days off, we enjoy spending time together, cooking and eating together. I guess there are people out there like Hiro who would try to test a marriage partner. I just had the bad luck to meet one. I can only think of it as an experience, because now I have someone who cooks delicious food for me.
My name is Yuri. I just got married to my husband Masakazu 6 months ago. Masakazu was a man who could afford to be a laid-back person before we got married, but right after we got married, his income dropped drastically due to his transfer at the company.
I'm okay with that.
I don't think that men need to be the one to earn money nowadays, or that the person who earns more is better, but my husband's attitude changed.
Hey, you think less of me, don't you?
No, I wouldn't look at you that way.
It's fine, I know. You just want me to move on to a guy who makes more money. Yeah.
What are you talking about? I'm not saying that. We're living comfortably, aren't we? You must be tired. You'd better just go to bed early. He was probably under a lot of stress due to the change in environment, so I decided to treat him in a way that wouldn't provoke him. We're not a couple that just started dating, and I don't want to rush to conclusions because he's the one I decided to marry. I'd be happy if he could relax and rest his heart, but...
Is that a new dress? You're showing off? I can't even afford to buy clothes.
If you want to buy clothes, let's go buy them. It's our money as a couple, so you don't have to worry.
I'm fine with what I have now, so I don't need any clothes, but...
Really? Then I'll be careful not to spend money on waste. I did all the housework, let him look at my phone and all the mail to prove that I had no desire to cheat on him, bought as little clothing and cosmetics as possible so as not to irritate him, and started cutting my own hair. All of this was to get my husband back to the pleasant husband he used to be. But one day I ran out of patience. That day I got a lot of delicious-looking wild vegetables from someone at work. Let's make tempura from wild vegetables today. Freshly caught wild vegetable tempura is such a luxury. With these thoughts in mind, I excitedly fried the tempura. But when I put them on the table...
You're doing this out of spite, aren't you? Serving weeds that grow around here for dinner? Are you saying that I'm poor? I feel awful!
He yelled at me, threw down his chopsticks, and left before I could say anything. I looked at him in dismay, then ate the tempura because I didn't care anymore. Wild vegetables are not weeds, they're delicious. I don't know if it was because it was delicious or out of sadness. I ate all of my husband's wild vegetable tempura, rice, and miso soup as well. It was delicious, but I ate too much. While rubbing my stomach, I remembered what had happened recently. I realized that I haven't heard any words of appreciation, such as delicious or thank you, from Masakazu's mouth since he transferred, and his salary was drastically reduced. If I make a side dish out of ingredients that have a cheap reputation from Masakazu, such as bean sprouts, tofu, and deep-fried tofu, or a vegetable dish with health in mind.
You serve such lousy meals because I don't make enough money!
But if I make a meat-based dish or anything with a slightly luxurious impression...
You bought this with your salary, didn't you? You're doing this out of spite! Just because my salary is low!
Why am I so devoted to Masakazu? Something brightened up in front of me, and I realized that my love for Masakazu's dried up. I felt a lot better when I thought we might get a divorce. After I went to bed, I noticed Masakazu coming home after drinking in the middle of the night, but I pretended to be asleep and ignored him completely. Lucky for him, since I leave earlier in the morning. I left some bread on the table and went to work as usual. He should be thankful that I prepared it for him. And that night, as soon as Masakazu came home, he got angry with me.
You're still mad because I hit the nail on the head! This is why I don't like women, since they're hysterical!
When I talked back to him, as if he was saying, "You see," he kept calling me hysterical. I was recording it just in case, so I stayed silent and ignored it as I kept collecting more of his usual lines to me. This guy talks so much. He didn't even take off his suit jacket when he came home. While I was impressed with him, he must have gotten a sore throat from talking too much. Why is this guy yelling at me to that extent? I almost laughed when I saw my husband coughing and drinking water. I turned my head and thought I shouldn't laugh.
You think crying will make it better?
And he finally took off his jacket, threw his bag, and went to the shower. That was close. I stopped recording for a moment and can't help but say that and laugh. I would usually worry about Masakazu's mood, but things were so much funnier now. I was so stupid. I felt a great deal of self-loathing, but after Masakazu took a bath, the TV I wanted to watch started just then, so I turned it on. Then I felt Masakazu getting out of the bath, so I started recording again. Masakazu came back from the bath and was surprised to see me laughing at the TV. I'm sure he was expecting me to cry and apologize to him.
Getting excited while watching some stupid show? You really are low level.
He walked up to the TV with a thump and turned it off. But when I turned it back on with the remote control, he turned around with an incredulous look on his face, looked at me blankly for a moment, then clicked his tongue and locked himself in his bedroom. Normally, this is where I would be trying to get my husband in a good mood, but I don't feel like anything anymore. I don't feel anything, so what's the point in being a couple? I was stupid too, but I was doing my best in my own way. But in the end, divorce was the only way. I married him because I loved him, and I thought that even if his job changed or his income decreased, we would still support each other as a couple. I can't just sit around and moan about it. I'm getting a divorce. The action that followed was surprisingly quick. A few days after that, the days were flying by, but I kept a diary and accumulated some evidence. I secretly packed my things, used my paid time off when Masakazu was at work, contacted my sister and her husband, and had them drive me out. My family, who heard the recordings and evidence, comforted me, and my father's acquaintance referred me to a lawyer who was good with divorce. Then, Masakazu contacted me when he realized I was gone.
Where are you?
It doesn't matter.
You're not going on a trip, are you? You're just showing off how much money you have. You gotta be kidding me! Just because I don't make enough. I'm getting a divorce.
Yes, let's get a divorce.
What?
I've hired a lawyer, so please talk to my lawyer about the rest.
Wait a minute, hey!
Then the meeting with Masakazu began.
She disrespects me because she makes more money than me. I'm the victim. If we get divorced, give me her money. Her money is our money.
Was he possessed by something? He was obsessed with money. But when the lawyer played Masakazu's words that I recorded, Masakazu shut up.
I want you to listen to your own words objectively and make a calm decision.
After that, he stopped talking about money, but this time he began to complain.
I won't divorce her. I need you to persuade Yuki, too.
In the meantime, I received a call from Mazukazu's parents-in-law, who cried to me, so we decided to meet at a family restaurant.
I heard you and Masakazu are getting a divorce.
My son was crying and talking, so I don't really know, but I'd like to know how it happened. I'm still puzzled as to why Mazukazu was born from these two people who are both good people with common sense. I asked them to read my diary, which my lawyer told me would be evidence, and played the recording. I made an effort to compromise, but I couldn't do it anymore. It became impossible. I tried to put on a bit of an act to my astonished in-laws, but I actually got teary-eyed when I told them.
I'm sorry about her son for pushing Yuki-san to this point.
It's no wonder you want to get divorced. Yuki, please divorce him and be happy. And after my in-laws agreed to the divorce, somehow my husband returned to his original personality right when we got married and became calm. Even though he apologized, I didn't feel anything.
I'll give you all my deposits. I was out of my mind.
Apart from the alimony, the joint savings will be neatly bisected because it was your right. I'm sorry, but I can't just rip off your hard-earned money. I don't want your money, you know. Since we separated, I started going to the hairdressers and bought clothes from my favorite brands that were reasonably priced and not just under 1,000 yen. And I had returned to the way I was when I first got married.
Just like the good old days. You're back to the old you.
During our last discussion, my husband was somewhat impressed with my appearance.
I'll never say things like that again. You'll start over with me, won't you?
I just stopped putting up with things I was doing for this person that I didn't need to do at all. I'm sure his brain went, she's back to her old self to start over with me. I won't put up with it for you anymore. Thank you for everything. I doubt we'll ever see each other again.
What? Why? You came back to your old self for me, didn't you? You used to be such a wreck. My income won't be recovered, but you don't care about money, so why not? Let's start over.
When I gave him back the ring, he started crying again. And after being admonished by his lawyer, I was finally able to have the divorce papers written and filed. I was finally free from Mazukazu, and I used the paid time off to do things I hadn't been able to do for a while. After that, Mazukazu's parents-in-law...
What have you done to their daughter?
They were so furious that they're in a state of partial estrangement from each other. Mazukazu tried to cry to his siblings and relatives, but his parents-in-law contacted them and refused to speak to him. After that, I saw someone who looked a lot like Mazukazu around town, but he was walking around in a tired suit with no trace of the man who used to abuse me. In the meantime, I got my alimony in one lump sum, and I'm getting transferred out of here. I don't think I'll ever see him again. With the wild vegetables and bamboo shoots I got as a present for my transfer, I'll make wild vegetable tempura and rice cooked with bamboo shoots. I thought that as I headed home. My name is Yatsuki Yoshida. I'm a working housewife. I'm busy with work and housework, but I'm getting by. My husband Jun and I have been married for 2 years. I thought I was doing well with my husband.
What? Fish again?
You can't eat meat all the time. You have to eat a balanced diet of fish as well. My husband eats what I serve, but he was a little dissatisfied with the food. Fish is good too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, he's a man. I think he'd rather eat meaty food, but I have to make sure he eats fish too. That's what I thought. But one day... What is this? It was when I looked at the home computer to do some research. Apparently, my husband fell asleep without closing his browser, and the site he had been looking at just before was still open. There. Bad food? Yes, it was a bad food thread on a certain forum. My husband himself started the thread and wrote something outrageous.
My wife makes me eat really awful food. She's so bad.
What? What was written was an insult to my cooking.
The other day I was served fish boiled in paint. It was so colorful.
If it was just about the taste being too strong or too light, fine. But some of them were written to make it funny on purpose. Or rather, most of them were fabricated. I like to cook quite a bit and have been going to cooking classes since I was single. I cook according to recipes. I'm sure my husband was getting frustrated with my daily meals. I was just shocked. I can't believe he would write something like this. I don't know if he's doing it for fun or out of frustration. The only thing I can say is that it's not true. My shock started turning into fuming anger. All right. That night, I decided to talk things over with my husband. You're not happy with what I make, are you?
What? No, well...
I saw your post.
What? That's...
I thought about it, but I don't think we'll be able to eat together comfortably anymore. So, let's start cooking our own meals from tomorrow.
What? I'm working! I don't have time for that!
I'm working too. If you can't, go out to eat. Husband shuts up. He didn't deny anything about the post, so it must have been my husband who started the thread. That fact alone is already appalling. As I declared, I made sure to only cook dinner for myself. Oh, morning.
Morning.
He wakes up and realizes there wasn't even a glass of water in front of his seat. He must have been standing there thinking, she meant it. Okay, I'm gonna go. A meal includes preparation, cooking, and cleanup. I don't care if someone who hasn't done it before can do it or not. Even for dinner after that, I cooked only for myself and ate it proudly. Well, we only have one rice cooker, so I don't mind if he eats that.
Hey, where's mine?
I told you we're preparing our own food from now on. You should make it yourself, because I make bad food. You don't want to eat bad food, do you? After clearly stating this, my husband quietly went into the room. For a while, he was getting by on cup noodles, eating out, etc., but soon his pocket money seemed to run out. He must know better than to spend the living expenses. I often saw him eating white rice with furikake on it. But one day it happened. The side dishes I made are gone. I had stocked the fridge with some side dishes that I had prepared in advance, as well as some ready-to-eat dishes. The whole thing was gone. In addition, there were pans and plates in the sink that had probably been used. They were left unwashed. It's only me and my husband living in this house. It was obvious who did it. Hey, will you stop taking my food?
Huh? What are you talking about? Maybe you forgot you ate it?
How is that possible? I wanted to blurt out, but my husband just kept silent. And it went on every day. The fried eggs I made in the morning, toasted bread, and even the coffee I made. The moment I left the table, it was gone. No, he ate it. Before I can get angry, my husband leaves the house to go to work with a mouthful. Dinner as well. Most of the food I used to prepare beforehand always gets eaten. That's enough. What you're doing is just like stealing.
Huh? You have no proof that I did it?
How are you going to get away with this when you and I are the only ones living here?
Shut up! Shut up!
I am appalled by his utterly childish behavior. No matter how much I tried to warn him, my husband would not stop taking food from me. Finally, the decisive thing happens. It was the day my mother was coming home.
It's a lot of work every day for you, isn't it? Here you go. I made you some side dishes and simmered dishes. Have it.
Oh, Mom, I'm already a housewife, you know? Even though I said that, I was very grateful to her. After all, my mother's cooking is very good. After having tea at home, my mother left early because she had a concert to attend. I wondered how long it had been since I had a side dish from my mother. I was looking forward to dinner, but... What? What is this? I can't believe it. All of the food my mother had brought, the simmered dishes, the fried chicken, the boiled vegetables, and everything else, gone. I went to the living room and found my husband with his back curled up in the corner. What are you doing? I grabbed him by the shoulders, and he was eating a side dish that my mother had brought, as if trying to hide. It was an unbelievable sight.
It's your fault for not making me food!
That's because you posted on the forum that my food is bad.
That's not a big deal. I was just exaggerating to make it a bit more funny.
How can you say that after making a thread? The side dish that my mother had brought was already in a state of disrepair. That's enough. Let's get a divorce.
Huh? Just because of food?
It's not just about the food. Do you know what you look like now?
What?
You've gained a lot of weight and your face is full of pimples. My husband was clearly unhealthy due to his lifestyle of eating cup noodles and eating out. I had been making well-balanced meals for that. I was trying to make a meal that was healthy for you.
But I'm a big fan of the more filling stuff.
You don't like what I make, but you don't want to cook it for yourself, so you take my food. Don't you think that's wrong yourself? I'm not sure if he's finally becoming aware of it now that I told him that much. He was sullen, but no apology came out of him. Later that evening, I left home. Although I felt sorry for surprising my mother since her own daughter was at home when she got back from the concert, when I told her what had happened, she was taken aback.
Stay at our house for the time being. You should ask for a lawyer.
Worried mother. Even though she was tired, my mother made a lot of side dishes for dinner. I cried a little bit because I could finally taste this. I managed to find a lawyer who was good with divorce, and when I asked him to help and it came to a discussion, my husband was now complaining.
You don't want to satisfy your husband enough.
Even the lawyer was dismayed. I kept a proper record of the texts and other things written on that form, so that was also a major divorce material. He was writing things that weren't true after all. Once the posts were brought up, my husband seemed to get flustered. It took a long time, but the divorce was finalized. Many people around us were surprised and said, I didn't expect it to be over something like food. I myself felt the same way. However, to be honest, I don't think I can do well in the future with someone who complains about what somebody cooks for them.
I don't know how you put up with it. You should have divorced him sooner.
My mother was right. Rumor has it that my husband became extremely unhealthy after I left. So much so that he even had to get a medical checkup.
Make me a meal.
He would say things like that at work to the girls, which became a problem and even stopped him from getting ahead in his career. I'm sick and tired of him relying on others to the very end. I, on the other hand, opened a cooking class at my parents' house. Why don't you just try it as a way to take a break? I'm glad my mother suggested it. It was a big hit. Not only the neighbor's wife, but also her friend's friend, and now, by word of mouth, many people are coming to learn.
Natsuki is really good.
Your ex-husband must have been a real idiot. And they make the cooking class fun. A lot happened, but I try to think of it as a journey to meet people who are happy to see and listen to my cooking.
Hey, what shall we make today?
Teach me your simmer dish one more time. No matter how many times I try, it never tastes the same. My mother and I giggle together. I will only cherish those who enjoy my cooking. That's what this incident made me think. My name is Kana Omura. I'm going to be turning 26 this year. Both my husband and I work a regular desk job at a company. I almost never have to work late. That's why I get to spend more time on cooking. I often go home thinking about what I should cook for dinner. What do I cook? My husband, Dakai, is the opposite. He often works late and barely makes it home for dinner. Some nights, he even comes home right before I go to bed.
It must be so nice having an easy job.
He often says this about regular office jobs. I don't know what to say. It's tough sometimes, too. Yes, our company may not be working late often, but while we are working, we're quite busy. The only reason we don't work late is because we work efficiently during work hours. If you don't do that, you have to work late. There are no jobs that require no effort. But telling him that
You don't understand the difficulty of being a man.
doesn't make him listen at all. His work must really be tough. That's probably why he acts this way. One day, I was heading home, thinking about what to eat as usual. I thought that curry would be an easy dish to cook up. We haven't eaten curry in a while. I headed to the store to pick up some ingredients and started making it as soon as I got home. I cut everything up within an hour and tossed in the curry blocks. I got a message from Takai. I figured it would be that he would be home by 7 p.m., but
Hey, I want to eat fried oyster, so I'm gonna buy oyster on the way home. I'll be home around 8 p.m.
what? I couldn't help but vocalize my surprise. The curry is done and the rice is cooked. Maybe I can tell him not to buy any oysters? I messaged him in a hurry. Wait, hang on, I've already made dinner. Can we do that another day? Fried foods this late is too much of a hassle, and I can't make it past 8, it's too much work. Dakai wasn't satisfied with this answer though.
What? Your husband is saying he wants fried oyster!
No, I can't fry anything from 8 p.m. I gotta get ready for tomorrow, too.
If a husband asks for something, a wife should make it. You're failing as a wife.
I was aghast at what he had to say. He came back around 8 p.m., as he announced, and ignored my greeting. He walked past me to the kitchen where he placed a bag containing oysters. Wait, hang on, I said I couldn't do it. I even made curry.
Why can't you cook me what I want to eat? You're so mean.
If you had told me the night before, or even this morning, I could have made it, but I can't just cook it immediately.
Frying is easy. You just put some powder on it and panko and fry it. You're such a sloth.
This person does not know how difficult frying things can be. You have to prepare the oysters, dry it out, flavor it with salt and pepper. Then you have to dip it in flour, eggs, and panko before frying it in oil. Once it's done, you have to get rid of the used oil and clean up the splashed oil. That's start to finish of frying oysters. It's not that difficult if you decide you want to make oysters that day, but we have curry, it's 8 p.m., and suddenly I have oysters to cook? There is not a housewife in the world that wouldn't get mad. It's not easy. If you think it's so easy, do it yourself.
You're gonna make a man cook? You're scum.
He ran to his room after that. We just haven't talked since. The next day, he didn't say a word to me. I made him breakfast, but not a single thanks. I was at the end of my patience. That night, I called his mother without telling him. Dakai came home without working late, which was lucky. He seemed happy to see his mom.
What's up, Mom? I didn't know you were coming. You should have told me. But seriously, hear me out. This woman won't cook me what I want. Tell her.
Dakai probably thought that his mom would take his side, but...
What are you talking about?
Huh? Well, last night I bought some oysters, so I said, make some fried oysters for me. It should be easy, right?
Okay, then fry something for me. I'll watch.
What are you talking about? I'm a man.
Do it.
He was surprised at the deep voice that just came out of his mother. He was bitching the whole way to the kitchen. He took out the oysters he bought yesterday and started prepping them. We were just watching.
This is so easy. Why won't you do this? Mom is going to be so disappointed in you.
Dakai didn't dry the oysters, he didn't put any flour on, he just tossed it into the egg. Then he just kind of tossed some panko on it and put it in oil that isn't even heated. Of course, it was just turning into a liquid and it looked all messed up.
Huh? Wait, do I not have enough flame?
He was obviously starting to struggle before turning up the fire. Then he tossed more oysters into the fire.
Whoa! Hi!
The oil was all over the place. It was even on the roof. The oysters were burnt to a crisp. He fried them all, but none seemed edible. What about cleanup?
Huh?
You're gonna wipe it all up and take care of the used oil.
He had cooled it off and thought about where to throw the oil away. He tried to let it run in the drain, but his mom yelled at him for that. You had to use paper towels to suck up the oil and throw it away. This time I gave him rags to wipe everything down.
Why do I have to do this?
I do this every time I fry things. You have to take off all the oil ASAP. Once he completely finished, about 2 hours had passed. It took you 2 hours. You came home at a little past 8. I would be done around 10 p.m. if I had cooked last night.
You'd be quicker since you're used to things. This was my first time.
Yeah, that's true. But do you understand how difficult it is to fry things?
But if your husband wants to eat something, then you should cook it.
He's not giving up. I was sighing because I just couldn't believe it. His mom, who was silently watching, exploded.
Enough! You don't even make enough to be having an attitude like that. Stop complaining!
But...
Yeah, unfortunately, he makes less than me, but I still do most of the chores. When we got married, he said he would do some of the chores, but it was really only the beginning.
Your father and I both worked, but we helped each other out. There were times where one of us just absolutely couldn't, but we always said thank you and I'm sorry. You have no sense of compassion.
He saw his father doing things around the house. How did he turn out like this? I'm gonna let you stay with your mom for a little.
Huh? Are you saying...
I understand. You realize that she totally has a right to consider that, right?
Cooking is one thing. He often makes fun of me or mocks me, and I just couldn't look past it. I don't care if we're husband and wife. He was so concerned with that relationship that it was honestly just getting in my way. I just wanted to live fairly. He went home with her, basically being dragged out. His father apparently talked to him too, but he hasn't changed much. The only thing he's got going for him is that he's a man. He couldn't let that go. He wants to be a proud and great husband. Yeah, that comes after the respect. You're not proud because you do nothing or great because you order someone around. Someone who does the chores is much more respectable than someone who just orders people around. A little while after, Dakai reached out to me.
I want to go home soon.
I see. Did your mom and dad say it's okay?
I don't care. I'm the man of the house. I need to go home.
This man hadn't changed at all. I was disappointed that nothing has gotten through his thick skull. Look, I don't care about your stupid status and being the man of the house. I don't care about how much you make. I'd rather you worry about me and care for me. Do you understand?
But I'm a man.
Yes, you're a man, but your father and mother work together too. He shut up. This person was just looking for reasons to push and order me around. He's not interested in cooperating. Okay, fine. I wanted to help you, but I guess you don't want to help me. I can't continue this with a man like you.
Wait, hang on!
I went immediately to get divorce papers. I wrote my name and sent it to his parents' house. He was whining while his father forced him to push the stamp. He started screaming and pouting about shared wealth, and it was funny to know that he was scolded about that too. Dakai apparently told his coworkers about the reason behind his divorce, and they all helped to let him know about how wrong he was. Some of our mutual friends said, "He seemed so proud to have divorced you because you wouldn't fry him oysters." I've been freed and have been enjoying single life in my own little room. I go home to cook my own meal after work and invite friends over from time to time. Of course, a lot of people have sympathized with me over the cooking thing, but I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna waste my energy. I'm sure something fun will happen soon.
Thanks for watching! Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Bye!